What's up, guys? How's it going? Happy Tuesday. I haven't done it live in a while, but I'd figured I'd tap in, tune in, and say hello to my beloved and wonderful community of fellow seekers and wonder junkies and curious minds. So, as you probably noted in the title of this Facebook Live stream, the notion of why we need struggle takes center stage. And I recently put out a video exploring this very notion. And why would we need struggle? I mean, certainly the immediate response to that is like, who wants that? Who wants difficulty? Who wants pushback? No one, right? We want pure flow all the time. We want to surrender. We want to succumb. We want to submit, but we want it all to come easy. We want to be showered in abundance. Yet at the same time, I think it's important for us to remember, especially for those moments when we are experiencing turbulence or doubt or disquiet, or when the stakes are raised and we feel overwhelmed, when we're doubting ourselves, when we're second guessing ourselves, that struggle is actually how we make meaning. Dr. Jordan Peterson often talks about how we must commit to carrying a load, right? We have to carry a load, and we have to have a noble aim, and we have to have an orientation to guide us, and we need to be moving in a kind of direction. We got to know where we're going somehow. And of course, I can't help but bring up the Henry Ford line that when you feel that things are going against you, just remember that an airplane takes off against the wind. This is perhaps like the best quote in this vein of why struggle is important, and why struggle matters, and why struggle can come to define us, and why struggle can be the catalyst, the genesis of our greatest moment, the ways in which we show up when things are difficult. We must be salmon swimming upstream. And again, this notion of the airplane, perhaps the most mythic of technological machines, right? This machine with a million moving parts that soars into the sky, overcoming gravity, overcoming weight, overcoming distance, overcoming geography, right? An airplane embodies all of our greatest dreams of transformation, of usurping our own limitations, of rising above that which holds us back. And ironically, again, the airplane takes off against the wind. It is the resistance, it is the pushback of the wind that actually lifts the craft above its limitations. And of course, once we rise above that which holds us back, well, then we get a new vantage point. We see the big picture. We zoom out far enough. We gain perspective. Things cannot be understood looking necessarily forward. Only looking backwards do we see how far we've come and how fast we've gotten here. And I've always looked to airplanes and aviation for inspiration. Often when I'm at the airports, I go to the monitors that display all the various departure cities and destinations, and just reading those out loud already has a supernatural charge. You know, Istanbul, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Paris, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Cancun, Zurich. I mean, all of these cities, they glisten, they sparkle with the promise of something else, of somewhere else, of who we might become when we go into a craft that takes us to a place where no one knows our name and in which we have no memories. This is the idea. Alain de Botton famously said, "How pleasant to hold in mind through the crevices of our moods." You know, those crevices of our moods at 3 p.m, right, when lassitude and despair threaten, that there is always an airplane taking off for somewhere. Baudelaire's anywhere, anywhere. And on those difficult moments and on those difficult days when entropy and lethargy threatens us, and we look at an airplane in the sky and it turns us on for its promise of freedom and transformation, let us not forget, again, as Henry Ford Lord said that airplane is only up there because it took off directly against the wind, because it faced the obstacles, it faced the pushback. It went right into what was difficult, right into the resistance, right into the pushback, and right into and against the wind. So why am I telling you this? Well, because I'm a human being, right? Because in spite of the fact that I get to do what I love in my life, that I get to travel the world and show up on stages and try my best to enliven others and bring them into the fold of optimism and the unique human capacity to overcome our limitations, I still face those difficulties. I still wake up sometimes feeling an ache, missing my girlfriend, wanting to be held, feeling vulnerable, worried about the tyranny of time passing, dealing with the fact that I am bounded and limited when all I want is to be transcendent and infinite. This is the conundrum of the human experience. This is the difficulty. This is the faint disquiet. This is the worm at the core. How to face the fact that we have limitations. How to deal with the fact that we're not yet gods when we aspire to nothing less than to mainline space and time through the optic nerve, to contemplate space and time on a scale just shy of the infinite. I want literally to fit the cosmos into my imagination, to entertain the whole, to hold in mind the vast implications of the larger questions that govern the mystery that it is to be and to exist. I crave it all. I want it all. I want to drink the wine of centuries unborn. I want to persist forever. I want to ride a starship into another dimension and into another galaxy. I want to know it all. Having invented the gods, said Alan Harrington, we can turn into them, right? Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. We must never forget that we are cosmic revolutionaries, not stooges conscripted to advance a natural order that kills everyone. We are here to make a dent in the universe. We are here to sing the songs that orchestrate the universe. We are here to live so intensely, to live so passionately that death will tremble to take us. We are here to stand up tall, to lift up and back our shoulders, to rise into the challenge, right? As Terence McKenna famously said, nature loves courage, right? You make the commitment and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. You dream the impossible dream and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the secret. This is what all the philosophers, the wise men, the teachers, those who really touch the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done. You hurl yourself into the abyss and you realize that it's a featherbed. So again, when everything seems to be going against you, just remember that an airplane takes off against the wind. Just saying. Oh God, I'm exhausted. Okay. So those were my thoughts for the day. An 8-minute stream of consciousness, spitballing of truth. Speak from the heart, as they say, right? Because language ultimately is a magic mirror that reveals to the mind what the mind thinks. In order to know what I think, in order to know how I feel, I must speak with passion and become an enraptured prose being raised to the highest order, as Isaiah Berlin said. And in these moments, to claim the power of language, to articulate and externalize the contents of our hearts and minds, we evoke the power of enraptured articulation and ecstatic vocalization. The power, the passion, the voice, the eloquence comes through us, but not from us. And though it is with us, it belongs not to us. We become channels to some kind of divine and intelligence. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. We are divine, we are sublime, we are an incandescent miracle. And death will tremble to take us. And death will tremble to take us. I love you guys, as per usual. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing, which is a form of caring. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys mirroring with my consciousness, receiving my heart and my mind, listening and attending with your hearts and minds. And together we become intersubjective beings. We experience the contents of each other's consciousnesses. This is a moment of ecstatic communitas, witness and behold, deep dives into what resonates, what matters, what burns inside of us. I love you. I love you. I love you. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.